Right. Okay. Lovely. Well, very welcome to this session. Like always, so just make yourselves comfortable on the floor or on the bed if that's more comfortable for you. Make sure you've got enough padding under your head or maybe your pelvis, um, and make sure you're warm enough. And yeah, so anything I suggest in this session, only do it if it feels right for you. Yeah, if it's uncomfortable, then please don't do it. Then just make the movement smaller or leave it out completely or do something else, but make sure you're not in more you're not creating more tension in your body. Good. Okay, so maybe use your next couple of out breaths to let go of things. Maybe let go of things that happened this morning, things that happened yesterday. And slowly begin to let your body become a bit heavier. Allow all the muscles to become soft. And maybe imagine that you lie on soft, warm sand. And just imagine the imprint you would make in the sand. How would your heels sink into the sand? What would the imprint be that your legs make in the sand? And how would your pelvis press into the sand? And your upper back. And just imagine how your elbows would dig into the sand a little bit. And imagine the imprint your hands would make in the sand. And then let your head make a clear imprint in the sand. Let it really just sink down a little bit deeper. Lovely, good. And then if it's comfortable, turn your hands so the palms of your hands face the ceiling. So keep the back of your hands on the floor. If that's not comfortable for your shoulders, then of course don't do that. But if it feels right, then please do that. And then focus on your left hand to start with. And next time when you breathe in, see if you can create a little bit more space between your fingers. So just begin to spread your fingers out just a tiny little bit. And then when you breathe out, let go. And soften your fingers. And yeah, follow your own breathing, but every time when you breathe in, create a bit more space between your fingers. And when you breathe out, let go. Good. And while you do that movement, just become aware of um, your wrist and your elbow and your left shoulder. And see if you can create a bit more space in all those joints as well. So maybe you want to slide your hands a little bit further away from your shoulder. Really create a bit more space between your fingers, but also in your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder. Oh, it's lovely. Nice. Maybe just do that twice more on this side. And then let go of that and let your left arm and your left hand just rest. And then when you're ready, become aware of your left foot and the toes on the left. With your next inhalation, see if you can spread the toes on the left out a little bit. So create a little bit more space between your toes. And then when you breathe out, let go. So when you breathe in, create a bit more space between your toes. You breathe out, soften. Lovely. So follow your own breathing again. Do it as quickly or as slowly as you like. And then see if you could also create a little bit more space in your left ankle and your knee and your hip joints. So maybe you would like to slide your foot a little bit further away from your hip. So when you breathe in, see if you can create more space between your toes, but also in all the other joints in your leg, your left leg. Maybe do that twice more on this side. Excellent. And then when you're finished, just let your left leg, your left foot rest. Okay, then take a little moment to compare the whole left side of your body to the whole right side of your body. Maybe you feel that one side feels a bit longer, or one side feels a bit heavier, or maybe you can feel other differences. Great, lovely. And then when you're ready, become aware of your right hand, fingers on the right, and with your next inhalation, see if you can spread your fingers out a little bit more. So create a bit more space between your fingers when you breathe in, and when you breathe out, soften your fingers. And again, so follow your own breathing. Every time when you breathe in, create a bit more space. When you breathe out, let go. And then see if you could also create a little bit more space in your right wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder. So you may want to slide your hands a little bit further away from your shoulder. So just lengthen your arm a little bit. So with every inhalation, focus on creating more space in all the joints in your right hand and your right arm. And when you breathe out, let go. Maybe do that twice more, this arm. And then when you finish that, just let your right arm, your right hand rest. Good. And then take your awareness to your right foot and the toes on the right. And with your next inhalation, see if you can create a bit more space between the toes on the right. And then when you breathe out, let go. So when you breathe in, create a bit more space between your toes. And when you breathe out, soften. And then see if you could also create a bit more space in your right ankle, your right knee, and your right hip joints. So if you like, just see if you can slide your right foot maybe a little bit further away from your right hip. So with every inhalation, see if you can create more space between your toes, but also in all the other joints in your right leg. So maybe do that twice more. And when you finish that, let your right leg and right foot just rest. Good. And then take your awareness to the crown of your head, top of your head. And from there, become aware of a line through your neck, through your whole spine, all the way to your tailbone. And try to get a sense for the distance between the top of your head and your tailbone. And then next time when you breathe in, maybe see if you could lengthen that distance a little bit. So create a little bit more space between all the vertebrae in your whole spine. And then when you breathe out, let go of that. And when you breathe in again, really just try to somehow push the crown of your head and your tailbone a little bit further apart. Yeah, so again, follow your own breathing, but every time when you breathe in, create a bit more space between your vertebrae. And when you breathe out, just let go, just soften. Maybe just do that one more time. And then let go of that and let your whole spine just rest. Forward. And then begin to wriggle your fingers and your toes. So just invite a bit of movement in your fingers and your toes. And maybe also move the muscles in your face. So maybe chew, do anything you like with your face. Move the muscles. And then if you like, use all the muscles in your face to smile. So use your mouth, but also your eyes, your cheeks, your forehead, your nose. Lovely, excellent, nice. Good. Okay, and then bend both knees if that feels comfortable. So just put both feet flat on the floor. Excellent, good, okay. And now you've got a choice. If you think you are comfortable to lie on your front, then please come and lie on your front. If you think that's not very comfortable for you, then just stay on your back. That's absolutely fine. And even if you decide to go on your front and after a while you think it's no longer comfortable, then please roll onto your back and just do the exercises on your back. Good, yeah. So when you lie on your front, make sure you're comfortable. Maybe have an extra cushion under your lower legs or under your chest, or yeah, just do what you need to do to make yourself comfortable. And then just begin to feel the imprint you would make with the sand now. Yeah, so again, imagine that you lie on soft, warm sand, and just imagine how you would press into the sand now. And then become aware of your breathing. Notice if you can feel movement in your abdomen when you breathe. When you lie on your front, you may feel the movement of your abdomen really, against the floor. Yeah, but just become aware of your abdomen. You don't have to change anything, but just notice what happens in your abdomen when you breathe in and out right now. No, excellent. Okay, then become aware of your left shoulder blade. And just begin to move your left shoulder blade any way you like. So, yeah, maybe you could just slide it on your back towards your ear or away from your ear, from side to side. Make little circles. But just notice how your left shoulder blade can move now. When you lie on your back, it may be a little bit more difficult to just move your shoulder blade, so you may want to focus more on your shoulder. Just invite a nice movement in your left shoulder or your shoulder blades. And just notice if you can feel any movement in your neck when you move your left shoulder or shoulder blades. Maybe you can invite your neck to move a bit as well. Allow your head to roll. And then let go of that and let your left shoulder, your shoulder blade just rest. And then when you're ready, do the same with your right shoulder blade. So just begin to slide your shoulder blades on your back any way you like. So just feel that movement. Notice how it feels different on this side, maybe easier or more challenging. And stay within a range that feels truly comfortable for your right shoulder right now. And then let go of that and let your right shoulder blade rest. Good. And then see if you can move both shoulder blades at the same time. Maybe move them in opposite directions though. So maybe if you move one shoulder blade towards your ear, the other shoulder blade will move away from your ear. Good. And just notice how your neck responds to this movement. Maybe let your head roll a little bit from side to side. Maybe you feel something happening in your rib cage, your chest. Excellent. And notice what happens in your spine. Which parts of your spine move when you do this? Excellent. Good. And then let go of that and let your shoulder blades and your shoulders just rest. And let your head rest. Good. And then when you lie on your back, have your legs long. If you lie on your front, you probably have your legs long already. But just see if you can straighten both legs for this next part. Good. And then when you lie on your front, see if you could tuck your left toes under. So just put your left toes on the floor and have your heel a bit, yeah, lifted away from the floor. And then imagine that there's a string attached to your left heel. Someone is gently pulling your left heel away from your hips. And then you let go of that. Then you just bring it back to the starting place. So just imagine that someone pulls your left heel a bit further down away from your pelvis. And then let go of that. Good. So you may feel a movement in your pelvis when you do that. So maybe the left side of your pelvis starts to follow that movement. So allow that to happen. Allow your pelvis to move. Lovely. And yeah, so when you feel that your pelvis starts to move, notice how that feels in your lower back. And notice how that feels a little bit higher up in your back. Maybe you feel a bit of movement in your shoulder blades. Allow your shoulder blades to move when you do this movement with your left heel. Excellent, lovely. Hold it and let go of that. And just bring your left leg back to the starting place and let your left foot rest in comfortable position. And then when you're ready, become aware of your right heel and tuck the toes on the right under. Yeah, so put the toes on the right on the floor and just have your heel lifted away from the floor a little bit. And then imagine that there's a string attached to your right heel. Someone is gently pulling your right heel a bit further down, away from your pelvis. And then let it come back. And yeah, so in your own time, just try that a few more times. Allow the right side of your pelvis to follow that movement of your right heel. And again, feel what happens in your lower back. And notice if your shoulder blades would like to join in. Just allow your shoulder blades to move. Allow your head to move. Oh, it's okay. And then let go of that and let your right leg and your right foot just rest. Okay, and then when you lie on your back, again, bend both knees, put both feet on the floor again. Lovely. And then see if you can, when you lie on your front, see if you can have your forehead on a cushion or on the floor. And begin to move your chin a little bit closer to your chest. Yeah, so just move your chin closer to your chest and then let go of that. And just do that a few more times. And when you do that, you'll probably feel that the back of your neck starts to lengthen. So you create a bit more space between the vertebrae on the back of your neck. Just a nice gentle stretch. When you lie on your front, you may feel that your chest starts to lift a little bit. So allow that to happen as well. But yeah, please make this movement as small or as large as you like. So make sure it feels comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable at all, then please just leave it out. Excellent. And then let go of that and let your head just rest. And then become aware of your pelvis and your tailbone. Maybe see if you can begin to move your tailbone a little bit closer to the floor and then a little bit further away from the floor. So you just begin to do a little tilting movement with your pelvis. And yeah, so many of you have done that with me when you lie on your back many times before. But it is a bit unusual to do this when you lie on your front. But just see if you can somehow tilt your pelvis a little bit. So invite a bit of movement in your pelvis, but also in your whole spine. So how does your lower back move when you tilt your pelvis like this? What happens in your upper back? And maybe you could combine this with that movement of moving your chin closer to your chest and away from it. Yeah, so if you like, just let that movement become a movement of your whole spine, tilting your pelvis, but also lengthening the back of your neck. And yeah, try not to think about it. Let it happen. Your body will know how to connect those two movements. Good. Okay. And then let go of that. Let your pelvis rest. Let your whole spine rest and let your head rest. Good. And then see if you can again focus on your pelvis, but then this time roll your pelvis a little bit from side to side. And so just shift the weight of your pelvis a little bit more to one side. You could think of your tailbone, move your tailbone a bit to one side and to the other side. So just, yeah, roll your pelvis from side to side a little. And notice how that movement feels in your lower back, but also in the rest of your spine. Lovely, excellent. And maybe you feel that your shoulder blades start to move a little bit again. So allow that to happen too. And if you like, allow your head to roll from side to side with your pelvis or in the opposite direction. So just let it happen again. Okay, good. And then let go of that. Let your pelvis come back to the middle. Let your shoulder blades rest. And let your whole spine rest. Good. And then when you lie on your back, lengthen your legs again. So have your legs long. And then see if you can move your feet together and move your legs together. So just let your feet and your legs touch. And then begin to move your feet a little bit from side to side. If you like, when you lie on your front, you could maybe lift your feet a tiny little bit off the floor, but just move your feet a little bit from side to side. And if you like, just imagine that you are a mermaid. You've got a nice tail. You're just moving your tail a little bit from side to side. Lovely, excellent. And just notice if you feel a movement in your pelvis, in your spine. So maybe you could just let that movement travel up your whole body. But please listen to your body. Only do what feels comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable, maybe just imagine that you kind of swim like a mermaid. Lovely, excellent. Good. Okay, and then let's go of that. Lovely. And then come and lie on your back again. So roll onto your back. Take your time to make yourself comfortable on your back again. Good. And then, have your legs long. Just let everything rest on the floor. And just one more time, imagine that you lie on soft, warm sand. And imagine the imprint you would make in the sand now. Maybe the imprint would be a little bit deeper than at the start of the session, maybe a bit bigger. So just imagine how you lie on that nice, soft, warm sand. Excellent. Good. And then when you're ready, again, begin to wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, and then maybe bend both knees again. And just massage your lower back on the floor a bit. Either just rolling your pelvis from side to side, or maybe move your knees a bit closer to your chest. Make little circles with your knees, one way or the other way. Lovely. Okay, good. And then just do on the floor whatever you would like to do before you come and sit on a chair. Maybe you would like to stretch out a bit, or maybe you would like to roll a bit more from side to side, or roll to your side and stay there for a little bit. Do whatever you like, but eventually come and sit on a chair, please. Yeah, so take your time to get ready to sit on a chair. And when you sit on your chair, just begin to feel the contact you make with the chair. Feel the contact your feet make with the floor. And become aware of your whole spine, from your tailbone all the way up to the top of your neck, crown of your head. Your shoulders just hang down, your elbows hang down, and your hands rest on your thighs. Lovely. And then maybe close your eyes or lower your gaze and begin to focus on your breathing. Just notice what happens right now when you breathe in and out. Aware of the movement in your abdomen again. Good. And then become aware of how your body feels right now. Become aware of areas where you can feel a bit of tension, a bit of stress. And with every exhalation, maybe see if you could let go of that. So just let go of that tension, soften those areas. And then begin to focus on creating a bit more space. So again, create a bit more space between all your vertebrae, a bit more space in all your joints. So every time when you breathe in, really just focus on creating space, yeah, in your body, but maybe also under your armpits. Really get a sense that you're growing a little bit taller and a bit wider. Okay, then if you like, imagine that you sit in water and the water is just up to shoulder height. So your head is well above the water, you're very safe. But just imagine that you sit in water and that would just make you a bit lighter. Imagine that the water is just, yeah, you're just swaying a bit in the water. A really nice light feeling. So begin to move your spine a little bit, and maybe also your arms. Very soft movement. But just find movements that we really feel really comfortable for your spine today. Okay. And then gradually make those movements smaller and smaller. And just let your spine come back to the middle again. Oh, nice, lovely. And then maybe roll your shoulders back a few times. Feel your shoulder blades now. So let your elbows join in and your hands. And then shake your hands out. Let your hands be nice and floppy. Lovely, good. And then put the palms of your hands together like that. And then begin to make a nice round back and push your hands forward. So I'll just show you from the side. So make a round back and push your hands forward. And then you just spread turn your palms out and you bring your hands back to your chest. So it's really like breaststroke. Yeah, it is as if you're swimming. So make a nice round back and then you come back here. That's it. Maybe you want to breathe out here and breathe in this moment. And yeah, like always, of course, listen to your body. Only do this if it feels comfortable for your shoulder, for your back. If not, make it smaller or leave it out. But if it feels okay, just you do a few more. Lovely, nice, good. And then shake your arms out. Thanks. Good. Okay. Start to show you my feet. Uh, right, and just focus on one foot. So it doesn't really matter which foot you start with. And just see if you can lift your heel off the floor a little bit and then put your heel back down. And again, just lift your heel, put it back down. And then next time when your heel is lifted, see if you can keep it lifted. And then move your heel a bit from side to side. That's it. And notice that movement in your foot. Notice how it feels in your ankle, but also in your knee and in your hip joints. Okay, good. And then let your heel come back to the floor. Take a little rest. And then lift the front of your foot off the floor and then put it back. If that is a bit difficult, you may want to slide your foot a little bit more forward. It's easier to lift the front of your foot. Yeah, so just place your foot in a comfortable place to do this movement. And next time when the front of your foot is lifted, see if you can move it a bit from side to side. And notice how this feels in your ankle, also in your calf muscle, but also in your knee and your hip joint. Let's go. Put your rest. And then take a little moment to compare your right foot to your left foot. Good. And then when you're ready, lift the other heel. So lift your heel off the floor a little bit and then move it back. Again, lift it, move it back. And then next time when it's lifted, keep it lifted and then move your heel a bit from side to side. And notice how it feels on this side. For me, this foot, this leg is somehow a bit stiffer. It's a bit more difficult to do it on this side. But yeah, you may feel differences too. And just notice how it feels in your ankle, your knee, your hip joints. Well, put your heel back down. Good. And then lift the front of your foot off the floor and put it back. And yeah, if it's easier, then slide your foot a little bit more forward and then lift your foot off the floor. And yeah, next time when the front of your foot is lifted off the floor, and move it a bit from side to side. Yeah, so your heel is still on the floor, but you just move the front of your foot from side to side. And notice how this feels in your ankle, in your calf, and the rest of your leg. Good. And then you put your foot back down. Okay, then tap your heels on the floor a few times. Good. Okay, then stand up if you like, or stay seated if that's better for you. Yeah, so you've got a choice. If you want to do the next exercises on the chair, that's absolutely fine. If you're happy to stand up, that's fine too. Good. Okay, so when you're standing, just have your feet hip width apart, and a bit of softness in your knees, and a bit of softness in your hip joints, nice long spine, your shoulders hang down. And then maybe imagine that you're standing in the water. So imagine that the water is up to shoulder height again, really safe, that there are no waves or that there's nothing dangerous, but you're just standing in nice warm water. And just begin to sway a little bit in the water, a little bit from side to side. Yeah, try to feel that lightness and softness in your joints. Excellent. Nice. Lovely. Notice how you shift the weight a little bit more on one foot and a bit more on the other foot. Notice how this movement feels in your spine. Okay, and then come back to the middle. Excellent. Good. And then see if you can sway backwards and forwards, but just a tiny, tiny little bit. So the water is almost completely still, and you are almost completely still, but you're just shifting a little bit more to the front of your feet, and then shift the weight a little bit more to your heels. Just, yeah, nice swaying movement backwards and front, back and forth. That's it. Yeah, see if you can keep softness in your knees and softness in your hip joints. So you would just, yeah, that will give you a more stable position. It's easy to stay balanced. And then just let your body come back to the middle. Become aware of your feet and try to feel that the weight is back in the middle of your feet as well. Ah, yes. Okay, then have your feet a little bit wider apart and begin to shift the weight a bit from one side to the other. That's it. And then just let your arms swing around your body in a nice, comfortable way. If you like, you could let your hands tap your body either on your sides or maybe on the front of your shoulder, maybe even top of your shoulders. And then gradually make the movement smaller and smaller. And come back to the middle. Nice, lovely. Good. And let's then do that movement where you just move your hand forward and you just, yeah, as if you invite something or somebody to come to you. And then the same with the other hands. So you move your hand forward and then, yeah, you just move your hand towards you. And you could just continue to do a small movement. That would be absolutely fine. If you would like to make the movement bigger, you could maybe let your elbow really go all the way to the side and back. So make it bigger movements. That's it. And yeah, if you like swimming, maybe you could just think of doing backstroke. Yeah, allow your body, your upper body to turn from side to side. Still have softness in your knees, softness in your hip joints. Feel how the weight shifts on your feet now. So, and then come back to the middle. Shake your arms out. Shake your spine out. And shake each leg out one at a time. Okay, good. And then place your hands on your hips, your lower back or wherever feels comfortable, and begin to make circles with your hips. And yeah, listen to your body. So do small circles if that feels better. Only make the circles bigger if it's really comfortable for you. And feel this movement in your spine. Notice how your spine responds to that movement of your pelvis. Change the direction of the circles, go the other way. And gradually make the circles smaller and smaller. Okay, nice. And then have your feet a little bit wider apart again. And place one hand on the top of your head, your neck, the base of your skull, and the other hand on your tailbone. And then move your elbow, your top elbow from side to side and look over your shoulder. Yeah, so you invite a nice gentle twisting movement in your spine, but yeah, allow your hips, your pelvis to turn to the side as well. Still have softness in your knees and your hip joints. Okay, come back to the middle and your arms come back down. And then if it's comfortable, do the same on the other side. So your first hand goes to your tailbone now, the other hand goes to the top of your neck. If this is painful for your shoulder, of course, have your hand, your arm a bit lower, right? So just adjust to what feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, begin to move your elbow from side to side. Look over your shoulder. Nice, excellent. Then come back to the middle. Shake out. Good. Okay, let me just see if I can show you my legs. Yeah, so let's see if you can step out with one foot. So you just step out diagonally to the side and bend both knees a little and check if the distance between your feet is right for you. Yeah, so if not, then maybe have a wider stance or yeah, just check that it feels comfortable. And also check that your back knee is going in the same direction as your toes. Yeah, so you don't want your toes further out and your knee going in. That is not good for your knee. So just be careful that your knee and your toes are going in the same direction. And just begin to shift the weight backwards and forwards a little bit. Maybe again, imagine that you're standing in water. You're just moving in the water. So it's really nice, soft, easy movement. If this is not comfortable for your knee or your hips or wherever, then of course don't do it. Just be careful. You could do this sitting on a chair and just shift the weight a little bit from one sit bone to the other. That's it. Good. All right, and if it feels comfortable, just continue doing that and then let your hands join in. Just let your hands go forwards when you shift the weight forwards. Go back. Yeah, really as soft as possible, as if your hands are just floating in water. And notice what you do with your breathing. When do you breathe in? When do you breathe out? And then let go. Shake your arms out. Shake your legs out. Okay, then step out with your other foot. And again, check if the distance is right for you. So bend both knees a little. Just check if it feels okay. And begin to shift the weight a little bit from one foot to the other. And imagine that you're standing in water. So really nice, soft movement. Then when you're ready, let your arms join in. So continue to do that movement, but just let your arms come forward as well. And again, become aware of your breathing. Okay, shake your arms out, shake your spine out, and shake each leg out again. Good. Okay, and then just have the weight on both feet, feet hip width apart, or sit on a chair. Feels more comfortable. And just begin to let your hands come up, and then press your palms down in front of your body. So there's a bit of space between your hands and your body. Slowly let your hands go down in front of your body. Yeah, while you do this movement, just become aware of your whole body. Become aware of any tension that you could perhaps let go of. Yeah, so when you're ready, start that movement again. But yeah, really become aware of your face, your neck, your shoulders and your shoulder blades, your arms, your chest, your abdomen, your lower back, your pelvis, your legs and feet. Good. And yeah, if you like, do this in your own time. You don't have to follow me. If you want to do it a bit more slowly or quickly, that's fine. Just do it a few more times. And use this movement to let everything settle. If you like, you could imagine that you are a bottle of seawater, and the water is just brown from dust and sand. But slowly, slowly, the sand will sink down, the dust will sink down, and eventually the water will become clear, transparent. Maybe do that this one more time if you like. And let your hands rest on your abdomen. So maybe one more time, close your eyes or lower your gaze. And just become aware of your breathing. Notice if there's movement in your abdomen when you breathe now. And become aware of the spaces in your body, spaces between the vertebrae in your spine, spaces in all your joints, and spaces between your fingers and your toes. So then just make little circles with your hands on your abdomen. And then bring your hands to your lower back, massage your lower back gently. And then brush off, so just stroke down your thighs, your legs. Brush off one shoulder and your arm, your hands. Okay, good. And then same on the other side. Very good. And then rub your hands together and stroke over your face and your head and your neck. Oh, lovely. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. That was great.